Welcome to part 2 of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask Strategy Guide. And I believe we left off here. And just for a brief recap, so Link is in the land of Termina, and of course he has to save it. So throughout the game there is a 3-day cycle, and you use the magical Ocarina of Time and the Song of Time to relive the 3 days and do all of your tasks. Explore the region of Termina, do side quests, meet the characters, and things like that. The first 3 subsections describe how to get the Gilded Sword, the Stone Mask, and the Song of Epona. These sections all cover tasks you must accomplish to complete the game. In addition, they are presented here in the ideal order in which to complete them. Ultimately, you're heading to Great Bay, and to do that you'll need some items, which the first few sections help you with. Here's what you need: the Song of Epona, the Mask of Stone, 4 bottles, some rupees, and the Gilded Sword. Alright, so this walks us through how to get the Gilded Sword, and then it talks about withdrawing 100 rupees to get the sword fashioned at the smithy. And then revisiting the smithy. The powder keg task. The Goron racetrack. Alright, and then the smithy and the sword. When you return to the smithy, you'll get the razor sword. This is the sword you left to be reforged. Okay, so do that. And then getting Epona. So this is when you finally get your horse back. And to get Epona to be your horse, you will have to learn a Song of Epona. Romani's Challenge, Milk Bottle, and Romani's Mask. I'm not going to read through all of this, or we'll never get through the guide, but let's see, the Mask of Stone. So then you'll have to get the Mask of Stone. First you need to take a red potion to a soldier ghost in the Icona graveyard that can only be seen by using the lens of truth. If you don't have any arrows, pick some up before you proceed, or thoroughly search the bushes for some. You'll come across a mini boss, and you'll have to fight the boss to get the captain's hat, a mask that enables you to give orders to the undead soldiers in that area. Okay, then you'll come across a grave that you have to plunder, and that's where you'll get the Song of Storms, and then a harpies. So that's important to do. You'll fight some enemies along the way, of course. And then the Gravedigger, which is just a game you'll do. And this is important because you'll get a 4th bottle, which you will need. Alright, and now we're on to the Great Base section, so ultimately we'll have you primed and ready to take. So the first part is getting the Zora mask. The Zora mask is another mask that enables Link to transform into another species, like the Goron and Deku masks. To get the mask, you must save a drowning Zora in Macau. You also receive a quest to find the Zora eggs and return them to the Marine Research Facility. So here's the mask, and then the map. And it just kind of tells you how to handle Link when you wear the Zora mask. So that's important to note. Then you'll start going through the Zora area, which is a water area. And now the Gerudo Fortress. So this is an area where you will fight some pirates. And yes, so they have stolen Zora eggs. The stone mask will come in handy. Here's a protection of sorts. Takes you through that area. And then this takes you through pirate area and then the hook shot. So getting hook shot is very important. It will help you a lot in the game. So make sure you retrieve it while you're here. After getting hook shot, you will immediately use it to get to the Zora eggs inside the large water tanks. So it walks you through that area, and then the mini boss pirate. And you'll wear your stone mask during that. So it's going to walk you through that whole area. And then you'll meet a seahorse, and it will charge you with exterminating the sea snakes in the area. After completing this task, you receive the new Wave Bossa Nova song. So yet another song. And that is pretty much the Zora area. And then we have the third temple, which is the Great Bay Temple. The Great Bay Temple is the most complex temple, forcing you to move back and forth between rooms to accomplish various tasks. To get to the Great Bay Temple, however, you must first ride a giant turtle. So now this will walk us through picking up a ferry. Alright, and then you will be picking up a key and a compass from this temple. So make sure you do that. You'll fight a mini boss, Wart. The reward for your efforts is a battle with a very cool mini boss called Wart, who's basically a giant eyeball covered with jelly blobs. And here he is, right there. And you can use hookshot to pull the bubbles off and move them toward you. you can then quickly destroy them with your sword. So that's a good tip for that battle. And then the next boss room, so Gecko is next. You'll continue to move through the temple using your ice arrow and other skills to access some switches. These switches enable you to successfully change the flow of the water within the temple for your own purposes. So that can be a bit challenging. You might want to follow along if you need help. Obviously, some Zelda temples are tricky, and I do remember this was one of them. Stray fairies, find some missing fairies, and then the boss. Alright, so this boss puts up quite a fight. However, if you follow the strategies here, you'll do fine. Note, you may want to go to the fairy fountain and talk to the Fairy of Courage. She'll give you an ability that basically chops enemy damage to half when you're hit. This is an important ability to have before you meet Kyorg, who is one of the tougher bosses in the game. So that's recommended, and I would definitely do that. Alright, and then this tells you how to defeat the boss. And then of course you will receive a heart piece. Actually, I think you receive a few heart pieces for this one. And then Ikana Canyon, so this section includes all the tasks you must complete before you can enter the final temple, the Stone Tower Temple. You'll pass through Ikana Canyon, then beneath the well where you'll get the mirror shield, and then travel on to the ancient castle of Ikana. So this is going to just take you on the path through the canyon. You will fight some bosses, get to a cave, and then you'll just do a quick task and that will give you the Gypto mask. So you'll want to do that. And then beneath the well, so this is a map. This entire area is about giving the Gyptos what they want. You can get everything they ask for in this area except for the 5 beans and the blue potion, which you must have in hand before you enter. So this is a pretty big map. So you might want to refer back. And the ancient castle of Ikana. So the ancient castle is an area that requires you to hack and slash your way through. Ultimately, this hard work is for the Elegy of Emptiness, an important song that you'll use many times in the Stone Tower Temple. And when you are in this area, you're going to be dealing with switches again. So you have to switch them in a certain order to gain access to the temple. Then you'll eventually get to another boss, the king, and then that will give you the Elegy of Emptiness. To take out the king, use your shield to block until you see him make a move. This is when you swipe at him. The king's head will occasionally leave his body. When this occurs, block until his head returns to his body. Okay, so then you have to get through the Stone Tower Temple, and you will activate some switches by playing the Elegy of Emptiness as different versions of Link to get inside. Yeah, so in this area you must hold down switches with the fake links created with the Elegy of Emptiness. The key is that you can create only one pseudo link of each kind. Therefore, you must continually change masks as you move forward from one switch to the next to keep the switches depressed. It's kind of challenging. And then, finally, the Stone Tower Temple. This is the last temple that you'll have to complete in the game, but its completion won't come easy. As with the other temples, the Stone Tower Temple is a complicated maze of rooms that must be navigated in a prescribed order. So this section will be really helpful, as it said, navigating this temple. And as it points out here, the Elegy of Emptiness will come in handy for this part, because you'll be able to play the song as all 4 links: regular link, Zora link, Deku link, and Goron link. Another very handy key compass. So you must drive through these rooms using the current to get the compass. However, it's a necessary step that you must complete. You'll be required to make use of the mirror shield again, so be prepared to switch between Link and Zora Link. So every part is mapped out here. You'll have a mini boss to fight. Igor, mini boss. Inverting the temple. And inverting the temple will actually allow you to reach some items that you wouldn't have been able to reach. So you want to do that. And then this takes you through some tricky rooms, because you have to invert the temple at specific times. And then once you do that, you can activate some switches. So it might be helpful to follow a guide. And then you'll be facing Wizrobe yet again. Fighting another mini boss. A lot of mini bosses in this game. And then the Giant's Mask, which you'll want to get. So to get the Giant's Mask, you need to implement some fancy hookshot and inversion techniques. And then the mask is important for your final boss fight. And then there's just a quick note down here. And it says at this point you can either proceed through to fight the boss or finish the temple and get the remaining fairies required to receive the big fairy sword. We recommend that you get the fairies and go to the fairy fountain to get the sword before you fight the battle, but it's your choice. So that is what I would do, but it's up to you and how confident you are. And now, the end. So this section outlines the final scenes of the game. Inevitably, you must fight the final boss against Majora's Mask, but there are also 4 optional subquests involving the acquisition of the remaining Guardian Masks that we recommend. This section begins by detailing the 4 subquests before explaining how to wrap up the final boss. So basically you must conquer the 4 dungeons, Sora, Link, Deku, and Goron. In order to complete the task, you must give up a total of 20 masks, every mask that you can possibly give away. So, once you complete the dungeons, you'll be maskless as you face off against Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask will recognize that you have no masks in your possession and will give you the Fierce Deity's Mask, the most awe-inspiring mask in the game. If you defeat Majora's Mask with the Fierce Deity's Mask, you will have achieved a perfect game. So you will go through the Deku Nut dungeon, the Goron dungeon, the Zora dungeon, the Link dungeon. And this one, just as it says, is very complicated. Lots of fighting, some tricky doors. So just follow the guide. And then fighting Majora. So I'm not going to spoil anything here since it's the ending. But the Fierce Deity Mask is really cool, as it says. And I agree with what it says here, where we recommend that you play through the entire game and complete the 4 dungeons at the end to get it. Not only will it make your life considerably easier when fighting the final boss, but it's also a great mask to use when you go back to refight other bosses in the game. And then there's just a note saying the mask is extremely powerful and will make the final boss battle much less challenging. We recommend you defeat Majora the old-fashioned way first. That is Majora right there. There it is again. Majora's Mask. And then that will be the end of the game. And you can play again, like it said, if you want to. And I think the ending here is just some guides for side quests, information about all of the different masks and how you can get them, which is kind of nice. Where to find heart pieces and heart containers. And then the songs. And then that's it. So I do highly recommend this game. It has its own challenges, but if you're a Zelda fan, you have to at least try it out once. So I hope you enjoyed this read-through of the strategy guide. And I look forward to doing another one soon.